Welcome to Pardon Our Opinions on IntellectualRadio.com. Hello, and how are you? Okay, what is going on, baby? What's good with you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Antonio's not here, so we can. I got a confession though. I got a confession.
Talk to me. What's up?
All right, so I feel like I'm selling out for likes.
Holler at me about that, man. Talk to me.
So, all right, you see this stuff on my face?
Yeah, I see it. I see that. I'm not going to even judge you. We've already had this conversation about.
I don't really like it. It shows my age. I like looking young. I like looking fresh, man. I like looking 37, 36.
This dog beard right here, boy, with the little sprinkle. I don't like the sprinkle. My wife liked the sprinkle. I don't like the sprinkle too much.
Right. So I was letting it grow out of being lazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was like, you should go ahead and let that grow out. That looks nice. I'm like, what?
We've already told you, come to the dark side.
See, man, that
the beard dark side is where it's at.
I don't know, man. Like I look like a like Wolverine or like a werewolf or
Women
something, man.
love the grungy. Not grungy, but because we still can cut up the beard to make it look nice. But women like that facial hair, brother. Grown men got facial hair, brother. You don't have to let that high school stuff go. You gotta go ahead, put the black shellac on there. Put the black shellac and grow that beard out like you're supposed to.
No,
you know what the black shellac is in the barbershop where they spray you down with that that good stuff.
See, put that on. That's the thing. I've never been to a barbershop, man. Not to actually get my hair cut. Once I started going bald, I was like, all right, well, actually, I'm not going bald. Once I went bald, I lost the bet. And the bet was if I lost, I had to shave my head. So once I shaved my head, and you know what? I got a couple of, that looks cute, and I left it like that because I never, so I never had to pay $20.
I've been bald since I was 19, brother. I've went bald, brother. I'm not one of them guys who tried to hold on to the last little piece of strands of your hair and your cowlick all the way back here to the middle of your head. Let it go. I let that go. I see brothers with locks, right? With locks, and they miss it right here, but they got locks to the back.
Right.
I laugh, brother. We laughing at you on the inside of our chest, brother. That's no good. Let it go. Let it go. I let it go. I went to the barber. I still go to the barbershop because I get my beard done. The beard is a meticulous thing, brother. It's a pre. You have to plan this, brother. You just can't come out your beard look all luxurious like mine. Look, you have to plan.
Did you say luxurious? Like
you heard what I just said. I'm not repeating myself. I said what I said. It's luxurious, sir. This beard must be planned and meticulous. You dig what I'm saying?
Are you in the beard gang group?
First of all, no.
You sure?
I'm a married man, Jack.
That's
beard,
right.
Beard gets you in a whole lot of trouble that you don't want to be in, man. They be in there like, oh, let me lick your face and stuff. And then my wife would be like, yeah, you didn't say no. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I don't like. No, my wife was. She got it. She was in there one time. I saw her. She didn't say too much, but you see, she was in there liking stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay. All right. I see everything, cuz. I see everything. Get up off that beard gang. You see I'm practicing not hitting the table today. You see how it's real.
I see that. Real sensitive.
Yeah. You got to do it like that. How was your week, brother?
My week was good, man. My week is good. Oh, ups and downs, though. Ups and downs, I tell you. So, I'm trying to open the spot, right?
Right.
January 19th is the opening day. By the way. So, man, it's like one day something really good happened. I feel like I'm on top of the world. The next day, something bad happened. I feel like, really? So I just had a nice little roller coaster week. All in all, the end of the week, it turned out all right. So, I'm good. Baby's good. Everybody's good. Mama's good.
And that's what life is about, baby. A little bit of ups and downs that bring us to where we are at the end of the day.
How was your week?
My week was better. It was a better week, I had to deal with some family stuff like last week, but it's a better week. I'm getting ready for the end of the holiday. Christmas is my favorite time of the year, so I'm getting into the holiday mood. Besides all the Caucasians that tried to kill me in the mall yesterday, like they try to run you over with their car and stuff like that. So, besides that, and I hate holiday shopping. I'm gonna say that out loud. I hate holiday shopping. That's why the internet was created, for holiday shopping. So I don't do all like the people running around acting crazy stuff like that. So I did my shopping. I'm happy the Bears clinched last week.
Right.
I miss talking with y'all about that. The Bears playing today. Go Bears! If you're not a Bears fan, you should be listening in the first place.
You know, you think maybe I should go ahead and do my Christmas shopping?
Okay, hold on. Let's reverse that, brother. You say you go ahead and do your Christmas. You haven't done your Christmas shopping yet?
Man, I haven't been into one. You know what? I went into one store and I brought my baby with me, and she begged the toy out of me. But outside of that, I haven't actually gone Christmas shopping. But I only really I got to buy for a 4-year old. Like my mom. Well, technically,
So
maybe I did. So my mom, she buys her own presents, and then she tell me how much they cost. So listen, this is how it works. So my mother calls me. She says, "Okay, Kira, can you afford 60 something dollars for Christmas?" Right. So I'm like, "Yeah, ma." She's like, "Yeah, because I found something I like. So, it's just 60 something dollars." So, my mother's perfectly aware of,
yeah,
all the money I'm spending, right? So I said, "Yeah, ma." So that same day I was taking the baby over there so she could watch the baby. So I take the baby, and my mother calls me up and she's like, "You want to see your Christmas present?" Now I'm still thinking in my head, she's talking
wow.
about the Christmas present that she bought me, because my mother, she'll give you the Christmas present two
Mhm.
weeks before. She don't care, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking she about to show me something, right? So I'm walking up there thinking, she about to show me a jogging suit or something, because that's the type of stuff she buys me. And she pulls out this little like box or something, right? It's a jewelry box. So I'm thinking like, oh, this the Christmas, this is the present I bought you. She she showed me a little
That's
trinket,
real.
and she like, "Isn't it cute?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, it's cute."
Does the baby
Wait,
girl still believe in Santa? Did you let her?
yeah, she still
You let her have
does.
that? I was
Uh,
finna disown you if you didn't let
she
the baby believe in Santa.
she got it. She got it. Um, but here's the funny part. My mother also told me, and I want my money before February.
Wow. Wow.
She like,
That's real.
because I'm gonna tell you, it's been a couple of times I've waited until like February, maybe even the summertime, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, ma, I do owe you money for Christmas. Uh, so yeah, as far as the Santa Claus, yeah, she, we give her that. I'm gonna wait till she maybe 6 before I let her know Daddy is the one who gets
You
her the
know,
presents.
I'm gonna tell you this right here, man. My I haven't, I asked my brother and sister, shout out to Kubrat Latif. I asked them this year what they wanted for Christmas. I texted them, right? My brother texts back, "Are you sure you texted the right phone numbers?" Like, I don't buy them Christmas gifts or something like that. I was trying to be in the festive mood this year. So I was like, what do y'all want for Christmas? They looked at me like they was like, "Are you sure you this is the right person texting me right now? Like I'm cheap or something like that." I ain't cheap. I buy Christmas gifts and stuff like that too, sir. Why you laughing? Why you
because because you sound like somebody who don't.
I I'm sorry. I don't buy Christmas. I buy for my kids
That's
and
all.
and
Look,
and my significant other. That's about it.
dude. That's
And my mama.
mama, kids, niece and nephew, and if I'm dating somebody at the time, them.
That's all.
Anybody else, and I tell you, I used to have the all-time hookup on Christmas though, because my mother used to buy my niece and my nephew presents and her present. And a lot of times I didn't even know what they had got. They would just be coming up to me when I came into the house on Christmas saying, "Thank you, Uncle Kira, thank you."
You
Then,
welcome.
right. Then my mother would be like, I whispered to my mom, "What'd I get him?" And she'll tell me. So just in case of my niece
That's
and my
how
nephew are watching, yeah,
teamwork
that
makes
was
the dream
grandma.
work, baby. Teamwork makes the dream work.
So
It definitely.
what we talking about today?
We talk about a bunch of things today. We're gonna talk about a few things today. Cardi B new video, Money. Have you seen this video, sir?
So yes, I have seen the video. I saw a couple of comments about it on Facebook. So me, being in the media now,
Fam.
I felt like it was my duty to go check it out. And so for a lot of reasons, obvious reasons, I like the video.
it was an enjoyable experience.
I like the
But
video.
it's this is my thing. And, Cardi B has always been a sensitive subject for a lot of people as far as music, and is I appreciate her wave. She has created something, and she has rode that wave, and she is like making the best out of her experience as a musician and stuff like that. And she's gotten better. I'm not gonna front. Her music has gotten a lot better than me, and I have to honestly say that I enjoy a little bit of her music now and stuff like that. The video though, it's very very enjoyable. I think my wife like saw me watching it, and I had to turn it off real quick and stuff like that. It's very enjoyable. I'm gonna leave it at that. Enjoyable.
So I saw somebody posted, and they was like, "Well, is the video porn or is it art?" And one of the comments was like, there's no genitalia in it, so obviously it's art. Uh, it's obviously not porn. If there
No,
are
no, no. I
right.
wouldn't say that. I
What
wouldn't say
I
that.
what I was surprised about is they showed, the nipple.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
showed it. I was like, wow, okay, we can do that now. Because usually it's blurred out. It usually is not shown like they showed it. So I was a little bit surprised by that part. That did catch me off guard. All of the rest of it, I thought was interesting to say the least. The dance moves were great. Uh,
I don't think
you
you can
know
go
her
wrong with twerking.
the
I don't think
you know
twerking
the
you can go wrong.
music was tastefully done. The lyrics were top notch, I must say. So,
It was, I'm also gonna look at it like this. Like people can always judge what you do. I feel like she made it an entertaining video. So I wouldn't say it's something that was like tasteless. I've seen worse and stuff like that. I feel like it was a, well put together idea. I think she did her thing, and I'm thoroughly enjoyed it.
the one thing I will say about her is that I obviously we don't know her, I've never been around her, but
Hmm.
she her personality is what has made her
Hmm.
money.
It's genuine.
It's just right, and it just
Yeah.
seems like what she is what she is. She says what she wants to say. She does what she want to do, and she does it in a very entertaining way. And I think that people just kind of gravitate to that because I remember when I first saw her on what's that, Love and Hip Hop or whatever it is that
Right.
she was on.
Hmm.
I remember thinking to myself like she's funny, and then at the time, she didn't have a whole lot of scenes. It was just she was just there here and there.
Hmm.
But she was funny, and obviously it worked well for her. So
She rode that wave.
yeah. So shout
She
out to
rode
her.
that wave. She found that lane and she stuck to that lane and she did her thing. You can't hate on that.
Right.
Is it people? A lot of people say, I can't stand her because she's ignorant. She's loud. Man, she's that cousin everybody got that's funny. What I'm saying? Everybody got.
Exactly.
I got about four of them. You know what I'm saying? So it was a. I respect her wave. She's doing her thing. She's learning from people she's around. She's trying to make better for herself. She brought herself up from her meager beginnings, and she's doing something with her life. You can't knock that
No,
at all. You can't knock that.
you cannot knock that.
But before we go any further, though, because I don't want us to miss this opportunity to do this. IntellectualRadio.com. You're listening to Pardon Our Opinions. Give us a call. Let us know what you thought of the Cardi B video. 708-223-8953. Once again, that's 708-223-8953. Um,
I got something. I
holla
got
at me.
something.
Holla.
All right. So since we talking about Facebook stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um, did you see the story of the young man who was made to cut his hair
I
in order
was
to wrestle?
completely blown by that. Completely. It was very. If you see this video, this young man looks devastated. And I heard he still won the match and everything. And he looked devastated and hurt from the situation that he was put in. So I myself is extremely angry about what I saw. It was just another slap in the face of the things we're going through in this country with this racial divide, and people feel like they can be as racist or as direct disrespectful as possible, and that cutting a young man's hair because he had to read the rest of it. And they said that they didn't even have to do that. They didn't have to cut his hair and like that.
So, all right. So I was. Whenever you see something happen with a child, the first thing you think is, okay, what would I do if that was my child, right? Like, do you pull him out of the match? Do you, have a fit? Do you protest? Do you just leave it up to him to make his own decision? Like, what do you do? Do you put pressure on the coach as an adult? Like, what do you do in a situation like that? And, obviously there's also, you probably want to beat up the ref who make him cut his hair. But, outside of, being violent, what do you do or what can you do? Um, and I think that if I was his parent, I would let him make the decision on whether or not he wanted to cut his hair.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't have been, no, you're not cutting your hair, this, that, and the other to take a stand. I would have left it up to him to make the decision because ultimately, one, it is his hair, and two, it is his wrestling match and his, he has to live with the loss or the win or whatever. So I would let him, make the decision, but whatever decision he made, I would just go hard on supporting it. Like if he decided to cut his hair, after he cut his hair, I would make a huge deal about the fact that he had to cut his hair, and anybody and everybody that had anything to do with it or had an effect on it or was over it would hear from me.
From what I've understood, like this match was the winning. Like if they'd have forfeited this, I guess they would have lost the whole.
Exactly.
They would have lost everything. So he chose to support his team and cut his hair to appease with whoever, so he could wrestle in this match. But from what the knowledge is, this referee is very racist. It has had past racial issues.
Yeah. According, I guess he either called a coach or somebody else the N word, and he was made to have to do some anger management,
Ooh.
some I guess cultural training or whatever. So, people feel like that was um, that was kind of based off of the boy being black or whatever, had a lot to do with it, and it probably I just it's just unfortunate that it happened. It's unfortunate that at the time somebody didn't step in.
Nobody. I felt like somebody should have defended him. I feel like his coach. Somebody should have stepped in. Like, are we really violating the rules? Are we really breaking the rules here?
The story I read, his coaches did do that.
Okay.
I heard. I mean, from what I read, the coaches protested. They defended it. But at the end of it, I don't. As a coach, you can't do anything to an official of a tournament. I think that at that point, the referee's decision is basically his decision, and if they don't have anybody, above them at those places, then I don't know what it is that a coach can do. I've seen comments to say that the coach should have just grabbed everybody and just forfeited, but to me, then that puts more pressure on the young man because basically now you have parents whose kids have competed or who want to compete. You forfeit because of this kid. These people, are not the same culture, so they're not feeling it like he's feeling it. And then all of a sudden it's now, well, because of the black kid, we have to forfeit. So it's real tricky how the expectations you put on somebody else to make a decision that could have like ripple effects and still haunt that kid.
My question is, who fought in the parking lot when it was done? Because I was like, yeah, ref, me and you in the back about 5 minutes. Because I don't. If it was my son, and my son has untamely hair and stuff like that, I would have personally let him make the decision, like you said. But I'm guaranteeing I'm meeting somebody behind the building after everything is over, and somebody's getting stole off of real quick for my sons. pride and for the anger that I'm feeling and stuff like that. That's the racism we dealing with today, though, man. This country, and the funny thing is that we talk about Trump and we talk about the things that he's not. It's the people he's guiding that's the problem. And the funny thing is that and y'all better get ready for it. He might win again.
I think he gonna win again.
You think that for real? That you stuck it like you think he's actually? I was like thinking like maybe, but you think that he probably more than likely gonna win again?
No, I think he's gonna win again.
That's the sad part about it.
I do.
That's the sad.
Unless, but I will say this: it appears that he has pissed off very powerful people because they are coming for him in like all kind of avenues. His foundation, other things. So it appears that he has pissed off some very powerful people because they are coming for him in every form of life. So, but I think that his presence and what he has done has just kind of had some people who already felt a certain kind of way, just kind of make him a little bit bolder. But it's not as if this stuff wasn't happening before. I think with the social media, we're just finding out
more.
Yeah, the social media, the video. Like I'm telling you, man, video is probably the best thing ever when it comes to this sort of thing. Like even with the police, black people have been saying for the longest that police have been foul, and it was just always, whoever was the victim, against the word of a police officer. So it never really got as much traction. But when you see it on video, it's a totally different thing.
Going viral is a real thing.
Speaking of this though, did you see the story about the doctor who he applied to a all white gun club, a rifle club, and got rejected? Did you hear about that?
No.
Okay.
So I gotta look for that when it's done.
All right. So CNN, they did this story or whatever, and there's a doctor in South Carolina, I think it is, and he's a doctor, he's a veteran. I guess this club or whatever, this rifle club or whatever. I guess he has friends who are members of the club, and he's hung out there numerous of times or whatever. And he said, early on, his friends were like, you should become a member or whatever. I'll sponsor you, this, that, and the other. He said that he knew the history. So he was like, nah. So he said after maybe like a couple of years or whatever, friends came to him again. Was like, look, man, you like it. It's fun, this, that, and the other. You should apply, whatever, become a member. Things have changed, all of this, all of that, right? So my man said, he went in there, he submitted. He said it was him, and I think he said it was a total of 14 people. He said, him and 13 other people, whatever, right?
Right.
He said, they go through a little thing where they ask the group or whatever, does anybody oppose or have any reason why he should not, be a member? He said nobody said anything. They do the little process, and then all of them leave the room, and then they vote on each member. He said after they finish voting, they let them in, and then they tell you, if you're a member, he's the only one who didn't make it.
The only one. Let me guess.
He said, wait. He said they came to him, pat him on the shoulder, was like, excuse me, you didn't make it. But if you want to, you can stay for the meeting.
Wow. I think people don't fight enough because I'd have been fighting somebody.
He said, but he was real classy about it. And so I think he was being interviewed by Don Lemon. Yeah, I think that's his name. And now, so, Don was like, so is the reason why, you think the reason why is because you're black? And he was like, look, I try to stay away from that. He said, but, I looked at all of the applicants. I saw, what they were. There were some doctors. There was some, there was a variety of different things. He said, but the reality is that the only thing that separated us was my skin color. So it was
I'm
just
telling you, man, it's a thing where racism is blatant, but the real racism is these good old boy systems. You know, they say that it's like I had a conversation with a Caucasian friend of mine. She's like, but everybody has a chance to do things equally. I'm like, nah, not really, because they look at you and certain doors close because of the color of your skin. That in itself is like that systematic institutional racism that it's not as blatant, it's not as bold, but it's just like, I have the credentials to work in a Fortune 500 company. I'm applied, but I won't even get in because of the color of my skin. Those type of systems, those type. I made this comment and I made this post on Facebook. In order for racism to get rid of racism in this country, you have to break down all of it and start all over again. Because racism is intertwined in this country in the fabric of it, from the stone to the steeple. I'm telling you, it's intertwined. How could you get out? You can't really. It's in its laws. It's in its flag. It's in its systems. It's in its courts. It's in its military. How could you, avoid that?
the biggest problem is it's in his heart. That's what it is. I mean, you can't legislate a person's heart. And
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
we can, get all the laws all we want to, but at the end of the day, you can't legislate a person's heart. And what you have is a system that is ran by people. It really boils down to that. Like if you have somebody who is giving out the sentences or whatever, and they have an opinion of a certain culture, that's going to resonate or come out in their decisions. It just we are all emotional people,
True.
and everything
Very
that
true.
we do is based off of some emotion one way or the other. And so, when it comes to hiring, when it comes to prosecuting, when it comes to all of those things, like
Who
the
you
one
want to who you want to live next to?
exactly. So the one thing I realized, so there was a period where the majority of people I hung around were white or whatever, right? And but the one thing I realized is everybody is pretty much the same, right? You have like little cultural differences and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
but everybody's pretty much the same. And the biggest issue is access to the different cultures, right?
Mhm.
Is that because especially in Chicago, you can go through Chicago and really not deal with anybody of a different culture if you really wanted to, right? You can do that. But what I ended up finding out was that sometimes when I talk to people, Caucasian people, white people, whatever, um, it would almost was like they thought I was different than
Different how?
other black people because their exposure to black people was is mostly what's on the news on TV, a certain segment of black people, while all of my friends are like me or more like me. So it was you almost be treated like you're a little different, but you're not. It's just they're exposed to a certain segment on TV, and then we just get all grouped in together. And when you are a minority, that's what happens to you. You almost become the stereotype, even when you're not. Um, and so that's probably the biggest thing is that you can't legislate people's hearts. And the only way to get past that is for us to be around each other and find out, we are different. We are the same. Sorry.
Before we go on a little bit further, IntellectualRadio.com, pardon our opinions. Give us a call. We're talking about this a little bit. Gonna get into this a little bit more deeper. 708-223-8953, IntellectualRadio.com. You know, I've had the pleasure of living up north mostly all my life. And up north is a melting pot. You get people from all around the world, mostly people from Africa, people from Asia, Caucasian, people from Europe and stuff like that. So I had the fortunate benefit of less living around all type of different people. I mean, it's still Chicago, so people still live in these segregated ways, but we got to pass each other. We got to go to school with each other. So I was fortunate enough to grow up around a lot of different people, and I'm going to say I'm blessed and I'm happy for that. Um, I never really experienced racism head on and stuff like that. I've always hung around, mostly my family, but we still have friends who weren't, African American, who weren't African, stuff like that. And the relationships was always like the same, like, it don't come up, but people also know not to cross that line to be disrespectful as well. And that goes into our next conversation now, this whole interracial dating thing, man.
So, so the story is,
Hmm.
all right. So I'm sure some of you have heard the story about the Chicago Bears player, right? He was a Chicago Bears
Boom,
player,
boom. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So he proposed to his girlfriend at the game, and his girlfriend is white, and there were obviously a lot of people who disagreed with the fact that he proposed to her. And so, there were, I guess you say, black people, uh, some white supremacists or whatever, who were criticizing the fact that he proposed to this girl. Now, that's one thing. But then it was later discovered, just like with everybody, they went to the old tweets and they
Hey,
found out
bruh,
some racially
they find them tweets,
motivated.
man.
How do they find those
They
tweets?
find them tweets,
But they
man.
found some racially
If
motivated
you tweet anything, it's in the
tweets.
universe forever.
Yes, his uh, from his fiance.
And she was reckless, fam.
She
She
was
was
so.
extra reckless. Did you read? Do you read the tweets?
I read some of the tweets. I did
Bruh,
read
I
some of the
read
tweets.
them all. She
Yeah.
was extremely reckless. Like, fam, who was around you, baby? Like, young lady, who was around you that was like, hey, like, follow you? Like, oh, that's okay to do that. You should do that. Yeah.
So, all right. Here's the funny thing about it. I all right. I see everybody's problem with them, but I didn't think the tweets were that bad. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
think the. I didn't. I didn't think the tweets were that bad.
Did you see the tweets that this woman put out? She was like, black people name their children stuff they'll never have, like Mercedes, what's even Lexus,
Okay,
rent,
hold on.
light bill.
Okay, look. That is not that much different than the verse in Kanye West's song that say when he talked about, she called his daughter Mercedes because, or Alexis, and she'll never have a Lexus. All right. So basically, okay, here's the issue. There is a lot of stuff that I may say or people around me may say in, other races or whatever, right?
Right.
Whether it be we call certain girls who do certain acts Monica Lewinsky, or this that, or getting Becky, or whatever, right?
Right.
So I mean, it's not that much different. It's not really that much different. The issue is that she put it on Twitter or whatever, and and then they can obviously come up. But the reality is that her dialogue is not really that much different than everyday dialogue that people have in considering when talking about other races, when you talk about stereotypes or you make fun of them that are in fun or in jest, or whatever it is. And I'm not saying the girl she could very well be racist or prejudiced, or who knows, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she is. Like I've been around people who've said things about people in other cultures, just playing or whatever, and it does not necessarily mean they're like this racist person and they hate the people of the other culture. I think sometimes we just go a little far with that label.
I think this is the thing with white people. And I'm gonna say this as blatantly as I possibly can. You can't do it. You just can't do it. And how you get rid of racism among white people, when you hear somebody make some comments like that, you're supposed to be like, nah, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. Don't do. Who told her? Hey, you should not do that. And mind you, we ain't talking about like 2 or 3 tweets. We talking about like 30 or 40 tweets.
But they were over a matter of time though, right?
It was over some,
Yeah.
some years.
But I look, man, I don't know, because I'm telling you, I've I've been around I've been around black guys who date white girls who, speak the same way about white girls, who, the same type of tone, the same type of whatever. And all I'm saying is this, man, is that it's hard to just say, okay, we can do it and they can't. We can speak about them a certain kind of way, but it's just totally off board for them to speak about us in that same way. It's done both ways. It's just the fact that it's Twitter, and everybody wants to make a big deal about something. And not only that though, but it was, she tweeted it a while ago, and it is no different. It's no different than, like, everybody came to Kevin Hart's defense when he made the tweets about gays and lesbians, or whatever it was. When he made the offensive tweets, they was like, it's 10 years ago. Like, hers was a while ago. At some point, are we all our past? Because I'm gonna tell you, if we are, then there's some things that people might have a
I
problem with
definitely
in
would
regards
have
to
called
me.
me a Me Too case.
You know, I'm like, I mean, come on, man. So it's just,
But
I
no,
don't
no
know, but
comedy. Being a comedian and being some silly white girl saying the N word on a regular basis is two different offensive things, brother. That's our country though. That's our country in a nutshell. Like, our country is in love with homosexuality, but kind of hates. We have to bring up black issues. Like, black issues more like, well, get over that. Just get over that.
I,
Homosexuality issues that are attacked, they're like, no, you're not gonna do that.
I don't. I don't think the country is in love with homosexuality. What I do think
How is it
is
not?
that
How is it
I
not?
don't think it is. I don't think it's in love with homosexuality. I think there are too many people who have issue with it for to label it as being in love. But what I do think
Hmm.
is that
I'm,
group,
when you finish, I'm gonna ask you a
that gr-
question when you
that
finish. Go ahead.
that group, they come hard.
Right.
Like, if you say something inappropriate about them or whatever,
They
they
own you.
come they
They own you.
on you.
They own you.
So I don't think it's a country thing.
Uh huh.
I think it's just that group. If you say something offensive in regards to that, they are uniting and they coming for you. It's just that simple. But I mean, but I don't think it's really a country thing. I just think they unite, like the Avengers, and they come
They do.
hard.
They form like Voltron on you,
Right,
baby.
you know what I mean? And they coming hard with the sword and everything. Like, what? You
Hey,
apologizing. I think that's what they do, because another thing is that there are a lot of people behind closed doors in power that are homosexual. We don't
definitely,
we don't see them
definitely.
out. They may not be out in front of everybody, but there are a lot of people who have power, who do live that lifestyle. And so, if you live that lifestyle, if somebody is coming for you, or you feel like you've been slighted and you have some power, what are you gonna do? You're gonna use it.
I'm gonna say
What's
this.
your question?
I'm gonna say this. Um, this country loves it. Every show has it in it. Every every show has is talking about homosexuality. Every show has a homosexual person on it. I think we got a caller. Let's hold on for a minute to rest him out.
Hello, Carl. You are on with Pardon Our Opinions. Who's calling?
Where you from, Latif Ayuwawi? Thanks for calling. We want to hear your opinion, sir.
So I saw the comments that she made. I don't know if I would necessarily call them racist, but I would definitely say they were definitely ignorant. And, it definitely says a lot about her character, and I don't know how long ago that, these comments were made, but it is something that, he needed to take into consideration, before making that lifelong commitment, in my opinion.
That's very true. Very true.
I agree with that.
All
I agree
right.
with that.
Latif, thanks for calling in, bro.
No problem, big brother. Do your thing.
That was my brother calling. My little brother. Shout out to Latif, my little brother calling. Um, she, back to really quick. I'm gonna go back to her, but this country loves it more than it loves seeing an African American man in relationship with African American woman or a relationship with interracial dating. Everything you see, every commercial, every show, it has it in it. That's why I make that point about homosexuality.
I think that all right, all right, to a certain degree, I understand what you're saying, but I think basically what's happening is they're going through a similar process, and I know it's not the same, right? I know
Mhm.
a lifestyle compared to a skin color is not the same, or I know it's not the same. So anybody who wants to make a comment, it's not the same. Da da da. I know, all right, but they're still going through a same process, right? It's kind of like, back in the day when they start to slowly let black people into movies and, on TV and this or whatever. They're going through that same process because before they didn't have it. And so now they're going through the process, and now you're seeing it's more and more on TV, because the reality is, though, it is more and more in life. Like people are coming out more and more or whatever. So I think that's the process that is going through. As far as what he said, as far as the guy needs to pay attention to that, right? Now, I am in full agreement of that.
Mhm.
I think that sometimes, as especially with certain athletes or black athletes or whatever, I think that we have this impression that women of other races are different than the woman that is than black women. When if you talk to white men and you ask them to describe their women, they describe them the same way that black men describe black women. And I think a lot of times when athletes, after that one thing, that initial is done with, the honeymoon, this, that, and the other, then they find out it's
They
really
all the
very
same.
it's the
It's all the same.
same. It is the same. And I'm telling you, there was this guy I used to work with, this white guy. He was like one of my mentors at my job. He really smart guy. And I never forget this. We sitting and we're just talking, and he said, um, the worst day in every young man's life is the day that he finds out that his wife doesn't really like giving BJs.
Whoa.
Okay. Can I say that? Yeah.
You can say
Okay.
BJ. I think.
All right. So, and I was looking at him, I was like, what? I ain't never been married and know what he's talking about. He was like, yeah. He said, so basically what he explained to me was when he was married and when a lot of his friends are married, when they're dating, they get them all the time. Then he said he gets married, and then one day he's looking like, what's up? And she's like, well, I really don't like giving them. I just gave them because I knew you liked it. Right.
Divorce.
So,
I'm divorcing her on the spot.
right. So he's kind of like, what?
She's getting dumped on the spot,
So,
D. Like, that's just what's going
so
to
I'm
happen.
gonna tell you what that made my nosy self do.
Uh-huh.
I started going around asking white men who I worked with, do you still get them? And they
That's
were
a real
like,
question.
and they were like, no.
Hey, let me tell you something right now. And this is of course this is off subject, but if that's the deal breaker. That's definitely a
We
deal.
can hey, look,
We can talk about that another time,
we
but we
talk
have
about that.
to.
Hey, we can talk about
But
that another
I'm
time.
gonna just put that out there. That's a deal breaker
Yo,
in itself.
yeah,
But back to
one
the
of the twins,
subject.
one of the twins power. I'm with you
I'm
on that.
dumping you on the spot, but that's I'm sorry, but that's
Right.
true. Um, the biggest thing I think that black women they go through, and is a travesty in itself, is that people act like they're not capable of being a good mate. In that sense, if you're an athlete, you can't date or marry a black woman or something like that. That's what it seems like. My biggest thing with interracial dating is this: if you go out your way to choose someone that's not your race because you feel like there's some type of deficiency in your race, that's a problem. That's a problem.
I agree with that. So I got a question. Have you ever done it? Have you ever dated somebody of a different culture?
Nah. But before we finish the rest of this up, it's the quarter. IntellectualRadio.com. Pardon our opinions coming through. We coming through with some real conversation today. Call us 708-223-8953. IntellectualRadio.com. Pardon our opinions. You like that? You like how I did that?
I like that with your little Barry.
That was smooth, Miss Wanda. Smooth.
So so I have.
I haven't.
So I have.
I haven't.
And
no knocking. No white women. I just find black women. They fine. They look really good.
They do. They do. So no, I have. I think the last time.
We talking about like Becky, or we talking about like Rosita. What was we talking about? Who did?
All of them? I messed with a Rosita, and I've messed with a white.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
So the thing about it was, all right. So you kind of think that they're different, and this is why I say they're no different, because I say it because I know. You think that they're going to be different or whatever.
Same anger.
Yeah, but the truth
happiness.
Is, yeah, you think it's going to be different or whatever. They look different. You think it's going to be different. It's not different. To be honest with you, I probably argue more with a white woman that I dated than I have any other.
You for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, dude, they argue. They argue. They disrespectful sometimes. I mean, I'm telling you. Like, you be sitting there looking at them